I think
Oh,
she's gonna
oh.
make noise. Ah, shit.
Han, we're live.
Good morning, guys. This is the Tear My Glutes podcast where we talk about Japanese subculture and fandoms and other stuff. It's been a while since we've done that intro, so I can't quite remember what exactly we usually say, but today it is myself, Jimmy, aka Swoltaku, and Joe, aka Tsushima Joe, coming to us from Japan on his island.
Yeah,
So
Japan.
I like how what it takes for a show to go international is for one of the members to go across the world.
It's like that long distance
We're
conversation.
in a meeting. We're like, we're gonna need that Tsushima correspondent, Joe.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it's raining really hard out here. That's all we got going on.
It's raining sideways.
The poncho, and then like it's all flying into your face.
Oh yeah, because I could find the poncho here on the side.
What is the market for ponchos like in Tsushima, Joe?
Man, you know we don't even have a McDonald's here. I realized that this week.
It's like,
You poor man.
I'll tell the kids like, or the kids would ask me like, "What's your favorite food?" And I'll be like, "Oh, my favorite food is hamburgers." And then the teacher would be like, "Oh, like when you hear of hamburger chains in Japan, what do you think?" And everyone's like, "McDonald's." And the teacher's like, "Yeah, we don't have McDonald's here." I'm like, "Oh my God, we don't have McDonald's here." I just realized that.
That realization just. I need to get off this island.
how small this island is.
Hey, we have Mossburger, all right. That's okay.
How's Mossburger in comparison? I've only heard of it through my Japanese textbook.
It's fine. It's just expensive, like $8-9 for like, a burger, fries.
Oh jeez.
No, not even a drink, just a burger. Fries.
Yeah, you can get water.
Yeah. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today?
Oh.
Yeah.
Or this morning?
This morning.
We're gonna jump right into it. So today we're gonna be talking about graduations.
My idol's graduations?
Well, not idol graduations, because even though we've had a few recently, sadness. But graduations like from your fandom, like moving on. Should you ever move on? That sort of thing. And I sort of thought of this topic because when I did think of it initially, like Matsuko Deluxe or whatever, it said something like, "Oh, idol wotas should graduate by the time they're 20."
Well, Let's Go Deluxe says a lot of things.
I know, but it's just like, is there a time where you should move on, where you're too old for something, or does it not matter?
Hey.
Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, Joe, is there?
As the resident senpai of the group.
I mean, like, God, who are those kids in, like, NMB now? Those two stupid kids.
Oh, the little ones that just got drafted, right?
Yeah, and T-Man. I look at them, and they're like, what, 12 and 11 or something? And, like, now I actually teach kids that are, like, 12 and 11, and I just look at them, and I'm just like, nah, man, that's weird.
It's like, you should be in school.
I could be your teacher.
Yeah. No, but, like, like, I look at these 12 or 11-year-olds, and they're having, like, such a, like, innocent experience or whatever, and now they're in the spotlight, and, like, they're being thrust into the semi-adult world because, I mean, come on, like, their senpais are, like, 21, 22, and they're just like,
Yeah.
Like, we're depriving them of their innocence.
We're stealing it away so it can be sold in the
But that's not really about me. That's more like, oh, there's, people that are really young.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, like, even if you're, like, let's say, like, you're a 15, 16-year-old fan, and then there's, like, 12, 11-year-olds, it's like, that must be kind of weird, too.
I just think they're super cute.
It's like, hey, you're going out with the freshmen, oh my God.
Because it's like I don't know, maybe because I don't always see idols as like I'm not saying everyone does, but like
Like I want to.
yeah. So it's like okay, like I don't know when I see like little babby idols, I'm like oh you're so precious. I just want to like keep you in my pocket and like take you out for ice cream and things like that. You know, like it's not like or anything like that. Like the way I feel about like Kojima Haruna versus like who's like in her like 27, like 27 I think,
Mm.
versus like Nakomiku or something like that is like 13. It's
Right.
very
No,
completely different. Like even the way I view
but
them as idols though, you know.
I'm also saying that like that's who they're going to be. Like that's like they're on the path to like being Koji Haru or whatever, right?
No, don't think about it too hard. No. Ugh, I know. Like I'm eventually gonna see gravy of them someday, and it's just gonna break my heart.
But that's kind of I won't say that's kind of off topic, but like
It is, but now I'm
Oh,
heartbroken.
no, I'm just talking about like the whole age thing. Like, should you grow out of it? Like, oh, when you hit a certain age, should you get out? But like,
right.
I don't know.
Because like, I'm
Because
sure
for
there's
me, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, because I was gonna say like, because I'm sure there's things that you've been like a fan of before, and then like you were more into it back then, and then like now it's not so much, or like you've totally like grown out of that interest. And then like, is it because of like, or like, what are the sorts of things that drive that graduation? You know, is that clear?
Yeah. Because
Oh.
I'm trying to think about like hobbies that I used to have and don't have anymore, and I can't really say I have too many of them. You know, like the most I can think about is at least for me, like I used to be really into comics, like DC especially. Like I would actually go every Wednesday to pick up new like new monthlies or whatever every Wednesday, and then I don't do that as much anymore, and it was mainly because like just editorial and manager decisions from DC were very stupid to the point that like I got so irritated. I know, I was like I was like, oh man, that management, like to the point it was enough where like I feel like the creative aspect of it was very stifled for me, and then everything became really stale. Oh God, I'm getting depressed now.
No, Jimmy, don't go to the dark place.
You're always sad.
It's because it's early and I'm not pepped up yet.
It's all right. Oh, well, man, it's really late, so like.
So Joe's turn to be depressed.
It's so weird because now I'm tired and like you're tired, but like because you just woke up.
Mm.
I don't know.
I
For
think
like
it's, a
me,
good point.
for me, when like moving on for hobbies, well, first of all, like I used to play a lot of League of Legends, and then I kind of grew out of that. I just grew out of it just because like because of management. Got tired of
management. You be careful, damn it.
It's like, hey, look, I really like this character. Oh, look, she's really strong. Like, now everybody's playing her. Oh no, she's weak now because like management doesn't want her anymore. Oh, now she's weak and no one plays her. Now she has a game-breaking bug, which makes people that even like would remotely consider playing her not even want to play her anymore. RIP syndrome.
Well, she's just not meta right now.
It's more than the meta, but like her what is it? God, I used to know the names of all the abilities because like when you cast the game, it's more fun when you know the abilities and you say like oh like that force of will like was so good.
So say like that E.
Yeah, or E, dude. The WE combo, and you're just like anyway like. One thing that I find like really strong, at least in terms of like leaving or even sticking with hobbies, is like the community that builds around it.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of like one of the main factors that I left League was that all my friends stopped playing League too. Like, like something would happen. I don't know, like it would be exam season or like one or two people quit, and then all of a sudden nobody wants to play, and then there's nothing really compelling me to play by myself.
Mm.
Same thing that would happen with like anime, right? Like a lot of my friends used to like it, and I used to talk with them, and then they stopped watching, or I stopped watching, because there's nothing to talk about anymore. Like I just watch it by myself, and it's like,
Hey, have you guys watched? No? Okay.
It's like on the last episode of no, wait. Huh?
Yeah, because I was gonna say like I still follow comics. I just don't follow them as much as I used to, and I think maybe it's because of that too. Like I still have some friends that like follow comics and like read up with comics and stuff like that. So every time when we hang out, we'd like talk like, oh, so what's going on with this or what's going on with that? What's the story for this right now?
yeah.
But as far as like my let's get into it, it's just not the same.
Right.
Would you say it's like the same with you, like League at all? Like, because it's
Like the social aspect of it.
Yeah. So with League, even with idols, right? So like after I moved to Tsushima, like I was like, I'm kind of done with NMB because I don't have the time to follow them or whatever. And it's fun being like that English correspondent, like because I like translating stuff. I like seeing when I translate stuff and they get like a good reaction out of it. They're like, oh, like I didn't know this about this girl. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Hopefully like you get more interested. And whatever, and you find your own stuff, and then you tell me stuff just because I'm lazy as hell. But
I'll just quote your blog at you.
But so I came to Tsushima, and I'm like, well, I don't really have that anymore. Like now it's just all internet. None of it's like really real, and like also like stuff was harder to get. And then I go to I went to the request hour. I met up with like all of my friends again. The people that go to the concerts. Some of Andy's from Japan.
Right.
Same with
Joe too, right?
Same with Ryan, and then Joe was there too. And I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. Like I'm in the arena, like we're getting hyped, like next to each other. We're like jumping around, like I don't even know the mixes or whatever, and I still like scream. And that was pretty fun, right? But so I actually had like. There were two concerts that day, so I had both tickets to both of them. The second time, I was by myself, and I was all the way in the back, and man, that was really boring. So, But like afterwards, right? We all went out, we all got some yakiniku. We were like all talking about the concert and like this and that about the community or like whatever happened like recently and what stuff we liked. And I was like, yeah, this is really fun. Like I don't want to quit anymore. So that's why I like stuck with it.
Thank you, fans.
Really,
I know, right?
Thank you, fans in Japan, for taking care of Joe for us.
So, like, I really think that, like, having friends, I guess, or having a community, or having, like, people to work with, I think is really important when it comes to moving on. Or not,
Yeah, totally.
And I think, like, because I, like, sort of just got into idols, and then I met you guys, like, right after, I probably would have grown out of it pretty quickly. Or not grown out of it, but, like, I probably would have lost the interest in it, because I would have been more busy with, like, other stuff going on. But I'm still here, thanks to all these, like, Twitter handles.
That retention.
Yeah.
We were not letting anyone leave.
You gotta suck people in and never let go.
Yeah, I'm not trying to suck anyone, Julia. What?
That's gay.
The hell? No, but like, yeah, I feel like, because I think for me, like before I like met idol fans, especially, I was just very like, oh, I'm gonna follow 48 group, and that's like the only one because like they're interested in me or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I joke about it because then I could join the SoCal 48 club or whatever. And then everyone else is into all these other idol groups too, and then by extension I find out about them through them, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'll check out this group, and now I just love everybody, and I'm like, what the hell happened? But it's because you have like people to be excited about that group with and things like that, and yeah, you get to talk about it with them and stuff. Where I feel like if I didn't have anyone to like actually directly interact with and talk about it with, I probably wouldn't care as much. Mm-hmm. Right. But we're talking more about keeping interest more than like graduating, aren't we?
Well, no,
Like,
but
yeah.
to me it's like related, right? Because like how do you leave? You know, like let's say like you guys had a meet or whatever, and what are you gonna say? Like you want to quit? You can't just be like, no, I'm not into that stuff anymore. I think I'll sit out. Like you wouldn't be like that, right? Like I know, like a lot of times I think like there are like a couple people like that in our club that like
Hmm.
they want to move on. They're already like offloading all their goods
There's
and
stuff.
stuff, but like they still hang out,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and so they still kind of like idols even though they want to move on. And I think it's because like I think they can't move or like as much as they want to move on, they have so much fun like being with people that like they can't leave properly. Whereas like if everybody or like if like a chunk of people quit like at the same time
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like no like I don't want to do this anymore. Oh yeah, it's true. Then like you'd see like that kind of exodus, that kind of like dying
Mm.
down. I think that's at least one contributor to people leaving.
So it's kind of like the opposite of what you're saying, like before, or it's like the reverse, with you not being as interested in like Dota or not sorry League of Legends because like all your
Oh,
friends stop playing, but then
right,
like
right.
with like people like wanting to quote unquote graduate from being an idol fan, uh, like they can't leave or they have a harder time leaving because all their friends are
Yeah,
still doing it.
yeah. Like one of my friends actually, one of my Japanese friends quit being an NMD fan. And it's a little harder to talk to because like I don't know what to talk about.
Did you see that thing last night? Nope. Oh nope.
Well, because yeah, I think even with like our friends in the club that like are kind of like getting rid of stuff, but they still hang out. It's always been more of like what is it like? Oh, I'm kind of like backing off from like the 48 group and stuff like that, more so than like idols in general.
Hmm.
Because it was just like, oh, like I just got so into 48 group, I stopped following all these other groups. I want to go back to following them too. There's like stuff. That's like the main stuff I hear, and so I think that like that plays a part of it too. Because it's not really like, despite us being an AKB SoCal fan club, like it's funny because like once I joined now, it's like I still like 48 group the same amount that I did before. I just like everybody else now too. Like.
Well, I'm actually the opposite in that like I don't really care about like any of the other groups.
Hmm. But you'd
And even
still
though
turn
like
it with us.
yeah, but like I don't know, it's kind of different.
Hmm.
Like I know all you guys are in this. Well, this is a topic for some other thing, but we will come to it later, hopefully.
Hmm.
Whether it's better to follow multiple groups instead of like one group and stuff. But anyway, we'll get to that later.
Right.
Oh, that faithfulness question.
I was like, I just have like a question about like, are there things that you stick with even though like you're not that interested anymore, just because of you feel like you have to? Like for example, um, like I used to keep up with like some like animes and like mangas like Bleach or One Piece, but then now
Well,
I'm like I don't even give a shit anymore because it's like
because Bleach is just awful.
it's a shit fest now.
Sorry,
Like I give up.
I hate Bleach so bad. But that's a personal opinion, and I'll help keep that in mind.
Alright, I was young when I started, young and naive.
No,
But
it's
then
funny.
like
Oh, go
it
ahead.
was like the same with like Naruto. Like I only finished Naruto because I just want to find out how it ends. I don't really
Mm.
care. I just want the ending to happen.
And they kept teasing how close it is. Like, oh, it's coming.
It's
It's
like
coming.
the final battle. Okay, just let it happen, man. Okay, final battle coming up. Okay, maybe
Man,
next chapter.
Bleach has been doing that since forever. Like, it was like, oh, this is the final battle, guys. Like 8 battles ago. But anyways, I digress.
Right, but then like is there something? Do you guys feel like there's something that keeps you in, even though you don't really want to be there?
Mm.
Jimmy will like this example. Like I used to be a huge fan of the Chargers. And then my favorite player got traded, and
Oh, that
then
was.
like I still like I still sometimes like see like the news articles and stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's cool to see the Chargers doing well or whatever. But like, I don't feel like that same sense of like I don't watch any of their games anymore. Well, now I can't watch any of their games, but like for like the past 2, 3, or 4 years, like I hardly ever watch any of their games. And like when they lose, I'm just like, whatever. If they win, I'm just like, whatever. Like compared to back then, dude, I'd get so hyped. Like if they, if they when they score a touchdown, or even if they're beating a team by like 35, like 7, and then they score like another touchdown, so it's like 42-7. I'm like get super pumped and stuff. Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
Come back, LT. It's not your fault.
Didn't he retire as a Charger?
Yeah. They traded him. They got him back for like a day so that he can retire as a Charger.
Yeah.
That was touching, but I'm still very upset at San Diego. Well, for Chargers management for how that all went down.
Oh, he's pretty.
It always comes back to management, ruining it for us.
Free and Spanos P.
Yeah.
So the question was that do what makes you graduate from fandoms? Management.
I know.
Mismanagement.
Mismanagement. Well, because I feel like fandoms in general should be this very like organic thing, right? Like especially if you like something, it's there's something about it that you like, and then when someone is like trying to like manipulate that whole thing to like, oh, this will get the people going and stuff like that. For me, it feels like less natural over time, and it's just like, or sometimes it's just like a straight up spit in the face. I'm looking at you, DC Comics, but like,
you're not looking at DC Comics. Oh,
snap that burn.
Actually, it's just more of a literary device trick. Okay.
Play on words.
There you go.
Phrasing, but yeah, it's just But as far as like, what was the question again? Like does anything keep you? Like, yeah, does anything keep you, right? Like.
Yeah, even if you don't really want, even if you're not like as interested in it. Like, why not just give it up altogether, right?
I feel like I'm one of those people that if I feel like it's not really worth my time, then I actually can move on pretty quickly. Like it's just because like, okay, like. I'm not trying to talk myself up, but I'm a man of like many hobbies. Like I like to like make video. I like to like play guitar. I do powerlifting. I have idols and things like like there's a number of things I can occupy my time with, right? And it's just like, okay, so if I'm occupying my time with something that like doesn't make me as happy, or I feel like it's forced, I'm like, oh, this is time that I could be spending on like doing something I actually care about, So.
Let me ask you a question then. Like, when do you get that feeling?
When management comes in.
Well, like I feel like fandom's different when we talk about management, right? Because when you talk about management, that's something that's not in your control. Like there are things that like things that you don't control are being changed, and you can't do anything about it besides not do it. Like, let's, if we talk about like weightlifting, right? There's nothing that management is, whatever management, maybe like
Injury.
the gym will kick you out or whatever.
Or they'll make there's a lack of free weights in the gym.
but like in general, right? Like it's never like with the gym, right? With that kind of hobby, you have control over it for the most part. Like basketball, like you can just go play basketball, like. But being a fan of basketball and like management, like okay, I don't have control over what they do over my hobby, and sometimes like big decisions like that, I feel, they really just let you know that you have no control, and then sometimes when that happens, you're just like, okay, yeah, I can't do anything. I'll probably just stop,
Yeah.
So it's like the realization of like the lack of control of what's going on.
Yeah.
Turns people off.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why the election works so well, guys, because then the fans.
Yeah, they tease you with like a semblance of control.
Yeah, but then the single comes out, right? And you're like,
this isn't the kind of single I wanted, or.
Yeah, you realize that like, oh, I didn't have that much control because like, what if the song's actually bad? Like, I can't write the song. I can't. And like, it's hard to write a good song, a catchy song nowadays. And like, you know, then sometimes they don't do it, and you're just like, yeah, you know, that sucks. You know, I poured all my money into supporting this girl, and like, you know, you get a song that I like really care about.
See, it's kind of a weird thing, because it's like there's like supporting the girl herself, but then you're also supporting the group, and then therefore like the management of the group, right? Like, I just sometimes wish I could like there could be a way for me like you know like oh if a restaurant sucks but then a waitress did a really good job, like yo just give you give her a good tip and you're like yo
Right.
keep this, you know. But you can't really do that with idols, you know. Like you can be like, Drina, this is only for you, okay? I don't want management touching this, you know.
Well,
Like,
the funny thing about that example is that's only at restaurants, right? Like, let's say you go to like, hmm, let's say like you order a piece of software from a vendor, you can't be like, well, I just like that engineer, but like that CEO was a dick. Like, let me just pay the engineer.
that's true. But it's just, you know, because like the whole idol thing is about putting a face on it, and I feel like that's what like a waitress does or something like that, you know. Like she's
Yeah, yeah,
a server is like the face of the
yeah, yeah.
restaurant and stuff like that.
Or like you buy a car, you're like, well, I really like the safety features. Like, I'll just pay the safety engineer, but like whoever designed like the front fender is like an asshole. He's not getting any
Yeah,
money.
he just doesn't get me. I can't. No, you don't get a dime from this, all right?
God damn it, management.
Well, cause like okay, I think like the big thing for me and like is more like uh, I'm gonna diverge a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but like okay, so like the big moment, like there was a definitive moment for me that like I just stopped following DC was because like a lot of writing teams who were already leaving because they were saying like you know like editorial just like department just won't let them tell their story that they wanted to tell, you know, like why hire me if you can't let me write the stories that I was brought in to write, right?
Right.
And then like there was like a big clincher with like the people who were working on Batwoman at the time, uh like they were promised to write, like they would like DC promised them that they would give them All Star Wonder Woman if they write Batwoman, and so they do, and then they like actually revive this character and make her completely relevant and like just a very strong character and things like that. But then like you know DC just kept doing really crappy things like okay, well she's a lesbian, we want to get her married. You know, DC be like, well, that's fine and all, but you can't show the wedding in the comic. And they're like, what?
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, okay, fine, we'll do this anyways, you know, because you're promising us All Star Wonder Woman or whatever. And then when All Star Wonder Woman gets announced, it's like, oh, we're having Grant Morrison write it, and then which was like really really shady. And then so when they left and I found out about all that, I was just like, okay, well, I was already like, you know, kind of like falling apart because I was hearing all this bad news from writing teams, and now this like super skeezy moment happened, like, and it just like to the point where like I couldn't like really enjoy it anymore because like it just made me sick to know about like the abuse of all of like their writing teams and stuff like that, you know, like the exploitation. So if like someone were to like reveal to me like all the shady underdealings with like idols and shit, that would probably be like the breaking point for me. But like as for me, like I don't think I like ever really leave a fandom unless something like big were to like that were to happen, you know.
Well, I feel like from what's there's like a common theme like what seems to separate things that you give up versus things that you sort of stick with for like a long period of time, if not for your entire life, is like growth. So if you feel like you can, there's like still like organic growth within the fandom versus like management like manipulating everything, or if it doesn't if it doesn't fulfill something, then you're not as interested. Like for example, like when like Naruto's in the beginning is like not bad. Like it's like this kid, he's growing, he learns lessons, and you're like, yeah, you go, kid. And then they start throwing all this like filler shit in there, and it just stalls from like the more interesting stuff.
Mm.
Or like if you're doing like weightlifting, it's like I can get better. I can lift more. I can be stronger.
Well, like, see, weightlifting is more of a personal achievement, whereas like being a fan of something, like you really don't do anything.
Yeah, well, no, that's what you were saying before.
Like weightlifting, if you stall, like you could try different things. You could try,
Yeah, yeah.
different programs. If the Chargers start losing, like what can I do? Like I can cheer harder. Like we're not gonna run faster.
Right.
No, dude, that's how spirit works. You just lift up your arms and send them your strength.
Valley.
All right.
They're all Goku.
No, so let me follow up some stuff to what Jimmy said, which is like, you actually, would you say you actually had a definitive moment where you quit?
Yeah, yeah.
So like you can actually point to something and say, I quit. Like I don't want to follow anything, and then you just quit like right away. You
Yeah,
just
pretty
like
much.
stop. You like I don't know, did you sell off your stuff or like you just didn't buy anymore after that?
Yeah. Like that was exactly when I just stopped purchasing floppies and things like that. Like I'd stopped showing up to like the comic book shop. Support your local business, guys. Don't. Like I said that as I was talking about stopping going. But yeah, it was that particular one. Like once I read like that tweet about that, I just couldn't bring myself to want to like support that business anymore. And like I'm always like a firm believer that like spending my money is my way of showing like if I support the company or not.
Hmm. But do you do like, you know, do you still buy like more like indie stuff, like comic books? Since
Um,
like
uh,
DC's the one that you had the issue with.
yeah, well, because that's the thing. I was always more of like a DC person in general. Like my sister really follows indie comics more so than I do, and so like she buys them and occasionally I'll read them, but it's because I grew up on it, like I was a kid. I learned how to read English through like Superman comics and things like that as a kid, and it always kind of carried forth and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't really ever follow indie stuff as much, so I wasn't gonna pick it up just because I didn't want to follow DC anymore either.
Okay. I
It's
was really
like
curious about the definitive part because, what is it? Like sometimes like when people people make a big deal about how they're quitting something, right? They'll like tell everybody, I'm not gonna do this anymore.
oh yeah, no, I went on Tumblr and I made a big announcement about graduating from DC. sorry, I'm not calling out anybody.
Where am I gonna get my translated DC comics though? I mean, oops.
Oh jeez. No,
No,
but
but
sorry.
like, yeah. No, 'cause I don't want to say like you have to make like a big deal, a big announcement, but even then, like some people like will just they'll just mention like, oh, I'm quitting,
Hmm.
and I don't know, like is that happen often when you like quit something? Like here's an example, right? Like I actually don't follow it. I hardly ever follow anything AKB related. I never said like, yo, I'm just gonna straight up like quit AKB48.
Right.
But like, there was no definitive moment. I just stopped following them. I was like not interested in them anymore. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't be like, yo, I'm done. You know, like I didn't like make any messages and tell any of my friends I'm done with AKB48 guys.
Joe, no, let's
Like,
talk about it.
yeah, I just stopped following stuff.
So it's just like a more like gradual pulling away from it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like I used to watch like all their shows, and then stopped watching their shows. I used to post like stage about AKB, like I never did that, even though it randomly translates stuff.
Hmm. Well, because I think it's the people who are so outraged by like something specific that is like the ones I usually see, like the ones who post that they're quitting the fandom and subsequently come back. Like, and but like I can understand why they might do it though. It's just because like okay, especially say you're someone in the community that people looked for like translations from and stuff like that. It's kind of like saying like, hey, I won't be doing this anymore. Like I'm quitting. I'm sending you my 2 weeks notice, except it's now. Like
Yeah. No, but Still, but like they still make an announcement that they're quitting.
But like, so if you stopped like, well, you kind of did, didn't you? like,
What?
like subbing stuff. Like,
Well, the AKB stuff.
oh, like, well, yeah,
What do you
because you
mean
never really
NMB
see
stuff?
NMB stuff, but like,
Oh.
I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to think.
Well, for
Like,
NMB stuff, I'm just like not used to like my current schedule,
Hmm.
and like it is like subtitling is its own topic too. If you want to ever get into that, like treatment of subtitlers,
Mm-hmm.
or like what's it like to be a
complaining that
subtitler.
it's slow.
Yeah, dude, that'd be. I think that's interesting. I'd want to talk about, it. But that's for a future time.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I feel like that's if that's like the reason why people make these announcements and things like that, like that's cool. I can understand. But if they're just like somebody that like just shit posts and like like make opinion posts and things like that, and then like, oh, I'm quitting. It's just like, okay, why do I care?
Right. Well, I feel like it's probably like they want to draw attention to the injustice that's making them so upset, and then trying to like show how bad it is by announcing their graduation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but nobody cares. Because I don't know, like at least.
That other people care. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, I understand why they do it. It's just like I'm just sitting here though, like,
Okay, cool.
yeah, it's like it's like I see this a lot in like YouTubing communities and things like that. Like a fan will like make a comment at like some content creator, right? Like, oh, I didn't like that you did this video. And occasionally they won't say anything. Like, well, most of the times they won't say anything. But occasionally you get like that asshole content creator that just has to respond to everything, and he's just like, oh yeah, well, I don't care. Why would I care about one person's opinion when I just gained like 100 subscribers, from doing this new content? And it's like, okay, you don't need to say it, but I mean, I get the sentiment though. Like, why should, like, let's say like an idol group care about this one fan getting butthurt when they're still gaining, like, at least to them they think they're gaining new fans or pleasing a certain demographic or something like that.
Right.
It's like
the net game.
yeah, like nobody cares about your shitty, like, oh, I'm so mad, I'm leaving. That's my opinion. I don't mean
But
to
then what
sound.
about like quantity over quality? Like what if you lose a fan who's been a fan for like a really long time and you gain some like 100 dirty casuals?
Well, because you can't really measure like, oh, will these casuals stay casual, or is this casual gonna someday become the next dirty fan? I was once a casual, Julia. All
No,
right.
I'm not like my point is more like about like does does that mean that like the group has changed or like whatever your fan up has changed like significantly because if you lose like the people who got into it before like
Yeah, but I think that's like kind of like the point of like a living, evolving fandom, though.
hmm.
Like, okay, let's take me and like fitness, for example. Like, when I originally got into it, I was more into bodybuilding and things like that. And then as I kept doing it, I found out, okay, I'm more interested in like powerlifting, and then I moved on. But then in that example, I was able to control like what I was like more into, and like do what I wanted to do. But like, you can't quite say for everybody, like, just because you like this group this way doesn't mean that like other people might not like it that way. Um, like with Nobizaka 46, like some of the members said like we wanted to start drifting away from like the idol type music and go for like a more mainstream like artist sound, and yeah, like some of their wodas got like upset, like, what does that mean? Why don't you want to be idols anymore? You guys are idols. And then other ones were just like, oh, this is really cool, and because of that, they gain new fans and stuff like that because they find their music more like palatable,
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know. I feel it's like it's hard to say that you need to like always target your little demographic, even like as mean as it sounds or whatever.
Right.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Is it because it's late?
No, just
I might also just be rambling off onto like weird tangents because I'm not awake. I should have Coheed. I'm sorry, Coheed in Cambria.
anyway.
Coffee.
What were we talking about? I'm so bad. My bad.
Well, it's because like as far as like with graduation and like or leaving like your fandom and things like that, we're just like sometimes they alienate
Oh, and
one type of fan in
well,
hopes
I
of
mean, like well, when I used to live in LA, oh man, that was 2 months ago. Right, one of the polarizing issues with the Dodgers, the baseball team, is that their games are no longer on public TV and they're on cable, and they're not only are they on cable, but they're only with a specific cable network, and so a lot of longtime fans are leaving, and it's starting to have a negative impact. You know, like major outlets are picking this up as a news story. Attendance is starting to decrease, all that stuff. So,
but
like
like
when you lose like the loyal fans, or yeah, when you lose like the long time fans, and like the newer fans are just like, or some newer fans just might be like, you know, they don't take care of their longtime fans. Like, why would they take care of their newer fans? Blah blah blah.
because like I don't know because for me that situation is a little bit different because like what do they hope to gain from doing that as far as like fans?
It's probably they don't. It's more of like selling cable subscriptions and like getting money through that.
Yeah, it's like whereas like at least like Nogizaka members wanting to be more like mainstream artists and stuff like that is like I can at least see that like yeah they'll it definitely worked with like I don't know I feel like the female demographics and things like that and like for me I think it's like I don't know I see a lot of fans with like this sense of like entitlement over like the groups that they follow and I get it it's because you give them your money and you want some and everybody wants some control and say but it's just that like for me, it's just like, well, maybe it's because I'm that hippie fan that I always talk about. I'm like, I just support the girls no matter what they do, like it's. I don't know. I just can't really be upset if like, oh, this song doesn't sound as idly. I'm like, oh, well, okay, like this song won't be. Maybe the next one will be. And then you never know. You listen to Halloween Night, Midnight Boogie Night enough times, and then you just start liking it.
But I think like the point that Joe's trying to make about losing like like people who really have enjoyed it for a long time and those like tend to be the type of stick with it even through the hard times and then something happens and then like something changes and not necessarily like a change for growth but like something like douchebaggy.
No, I was saying that's just a good.
Or
Yeah, that's
more
just like a
like
douchebaggy maneuver. It's like not.
but it's like more what I was trying to get at like when I don't remember what I said exactly but
Mm.
Okay, so what are we talking about now?
I don't fucking know
Graduation.
anymore. Jesus Christ.
Oh no, you're the host. Come on, get it together. I was trying to help. I was trying my best to help you out too.
My sleepy rant's just derailing us. My bad.
Well, I mean, like, because we're talking about like people rage quitting.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they rage quit or whatever? No, because like I really was like thinking about like other hobbies, right? Like League of Legends, I never told anybody, yo, I'm straight up quitting League, right? I just stopped playing. And then people are like, yo, dude, I'm gonna quit League, and then like 2 months later they come back.
So if you learn anything, if you tell people you're gonna quit, you're gonna come back.
Well, I'm not even. I know that's the joke, but like, sometimes like, at least I feel like when it's time to move on, you'll just move on. There's nothing like.
Yeah.
Where you'll have to tell everybody, or like, you're just gonna be like, yo, I'm just done. Like, that's it. I'm not, and like at least with DC, like for you, DC, did you just cut everything off like right away?
Yeah, pretty much.
You did. You didn't like gradually like, for example, for like me in League, I used to play like every day after work or whatever, or after whatever my hobby was, and then like I think like then like 1 week I only played like 2 games a week or whatever.
Mm.
That happened, and sometimes I'll still play,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
that one time when we played a lot for like 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not fair to say that I completely cut everything off because it's like I still have old comics that I read every now and then, and like I still talk about comics with friends and stuff like that. So it's just, yeah, I think for me it was more of like this decision to like stop giving them my business, than an actual like I quit this fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it because okay, even like maybe this is like kind of like a weird comparison, but like I don't know, with like friends that you fall out of friends with, there's like some that you have this big fight and you guys are no longer friends, but like for me at least, it's like the most part, like people just grow up and go separate ways sometimes, and it's okay,
Yeah.
like friends I had from like college before, I just don't see as much anymore, and then over time we just kind of stop keeping in touch, and it's not like, and I'm not gonna like message that person one day like, hey, by the way, we're not friends anymore.
Our friendship is over. I'm sorry, man.
You can do that now that you just unfriend people on Facebook.
Well, no, I still keep them on my Facebook. I don't really care, as long as they're not like posting shit stuff and like being dumb. But,
Sorry.
like,
That's me.
have you unfriended me, Joe?
No, I just put you on ignore so that you wouldn't notice that I unfriended you.
I see the passive aggressive way.
Hey, man, I'm just being polite. It's not like you post anything on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, I don't. I'm so quiet on
See,
Facebook.
I would know.
But I do like your things though.
I notice.
Like
Senpai notices you.
Yes. But yeah, it's going back to the original thing. It's not like, hey, I need everyone to know, like, I quit being friends with so and so. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
Like.
Which is funny because like that happens with friends, but you wouldn't say that with like a relationship, right? It's like, oh no, we just stopped going out.
Never saw each other again.
Yeah. And I didn't have to announce it or anything or tell anybody. Just all our friends figured it out that we were not going out. Like,
yeah.
My friends figured out at the same time that like, as my girlfriend, that we're not going out.
So what happened with you and so and so? I guess we're no longer dating. Oh, okay.
Did you notice? Oh yeah, of course. It was just natural.
I saw it coming 6 singles ago. Oh, God. Okay.
What if we went back to like Julia's original question? When is a good time to move on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or like, do you feel like there's a time when you're just
Thanks, choke.
at least like from the idol's perspective, right? I told myself I'd leave when I turned 30.
But
that didn't happen. That was the last year.
Is it because you're friends, right?
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to clasp your hand, Joe, through the internet.
Interlocking fingers.
Well, I'm poking my face because I'm thinking about how fat my cheeks are.
No, dude, you're getting all Tsushima lean now.
The effect that happens when all the stores are closed after 9.
It's all that produce you're eating, man. That delicious produce.
Eggplants and potatoes.
Well, going back to the question of what is it, I feel like leaving needs to be at like a very, it needs to be a very natural process, right? Like it just, whenever it feels right. So 27, no matter what. 20. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just like,
Yeah, because you'll naturally turn 27.
Yeah.
You won't have any of that accelerated gene aging.
But
You
yeah,
have the
it's
fox
just
dye virus.
what?
Nano
I don't
machines.
care.
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
No, it can't be. Nano machines.
Oh my god.
Nerds. No, but back to the question. It is done whenever you feel like it is done. To give a cop out answer.
Hmm.
Like I
That
don't
is a
know. I
cop
mean,
out answer. Do you think
well,
you
'cause
okay? How about this? How do you ever think? When do you think you're gonna leave?
I don't really think about when I'm gonna leave with anything I do.
With idols, you think you're gonna be there forever?
Oh, 1 second.
Oh.
Obviously
Okay,
not.
well, I'll answer that if you care.
I kid.
But
This is supposed to be your show. You're
I
supposed to be
know.
slamming us with opinions
I'm
and
sorry. I came up with this topic because no one else came
I
up
came up
Sorry.
with 3 topics.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back.
Before. That's when I came up with it officially.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to just randomly like cut out mid sentence. What were you guys asking me?
We weren't asking you anything. You were answering a question.
What was I answering? I'm so lost.
What do you think?
When do you think you're gonna leave?
Oh.
Do you think you're gonna
Oh.
leave?
Well, yeah, that's the
Or do
thing.
you think you'd stick with it forever?
I mean, I don't have this expectation of sticking with it forever, but if I do, that's cool too. My hair's a mess now. Like, what is it? Like, yeah, I don't really think about like with anything. I don't really think about like when I'm gonna leave. You know.
Really? Really? No matter what happens, you don't think there's gonna be something that happens in your life when you're gonna quit idols?
Yeah. Like, I mean, if it happens, I'm not gonna like try to fight it. You know, but I don't really think.
For example, like if I got a wife, I don't think I'd follow idols.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and it's just like I don't know. Like,
See, you said you didn't think about it, you liar.
No, I was thinking about that, but I don't think I would force myself to leave idols just because I was getting married. You know, like
I don't think I would force myself, but like it would just be that, like, right? Like, what do they offer them?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if it happens, like
Well, why would I go to a handshake event? You know, or like how could I go to a handshake event?
what if you marry like a fellow like idol nerd and she's like, hey, dude, you want to go check out this? Want to go to a handshake event?
Probably
You know,
won't,
like,
though.
well, wouldn't you probably? I mean, maybe not. I mean, I know it's like a probably won't. I'm not trying to like be delusional here, but like,
Right.
you know, it's not something that I'm like actively thinking like ahead that far. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like when it comes, like, yeah, when it comes to like my fandom, I just don't really think that far ahead. Like it could be like as soon as I just have a girlfriend, I'm one of those dudes that's just like, all right, well, sorry, Drina, like it's been good, but I need to spend more time with my real life girlfriend now. You know, and then like, and I just move on. That's who knows, but like it's not like I really think about it that far ahead, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, I know like a lot of people like once they have a kid, like they just lose all their hobbies.
So maybe yeah, it could be that's
Right.
when it happens. Like, oh, I have a baby. Oh, but I want to watch this concert. Nope, you gotta take care of the baby.
It's basically
Yo.
says you cease to exist as an individual when you have children.
It's like, yo, I want to
unless
watch this AKB 50th anniversary. No, I gotta take care of Jimmy Jr.
unless like Jimmy Jr. inherits Papa Jimmy's spirit and he too becomes an idol nerd. No, I won't let that happen to my kid. And I need to go buy singles. No, son. Where'd you get this?
Throw your money at them.
I learned it from you, Dad.
Like all those magazines under your
Oh, dude.
I don't know, dude. I think kids that like idols are like really cute.
But maybe it's because like they might want to be more like them. You know, they want to be cute like the idols. Work hard.
Well, see, because I think in like one of the things about being a Western fan is like we all tend to find out about idols later on in life. You know, when we have access to internet and things like that, and we become disgusting nerds and stuff.
Okay. Well, all right, dude. Like I didn't even have the internet when I was a kid, so.
Well, I mean, you weren't like, at least for me as a kid, I don't know, I was doing stupid things on the internet, like Googling Pokedex and Gundams, you know, like. And then in high school, I was just as being an emo, angsty kid. Anyway, but anyways, like you know, like it's not like 12-year-old James is gonna be sitting there like I don't even know what J-pop idols are, but let's Google it and get into it. You know, like whereas like I feel like in at least in like parts of Japan, it's more in your face. You know, you see them in
Oh, yeah,
commercials and things like
Right,
that. So you have
okay, yeah.
They
yeah,
make
you
the
have earlier
announcements if they're
exposure
going
to it.
for-
You know.
Mhm.
So it's like yeah, like and then at that time in your life, you're getting in and out of things so quickly, I guess.
Yeah. That's part of like exploring your identity as a young person.
Mm-hmm. It's because like
That's deep.
to loop it back to like why Matsuko Deluxe would say like you gotta quit by 20 and stuff like that is like because I wouldn't be surprised if you know like I don't know what it's like to be like someone growing up in Japan. I'm not gonna pretend, but like you know you hear things about like oh yeah high school boys getting it like oh who's your favorite AKB48 member? You know like oh what type of girl do you like? Oh I don't know. Well who's your favorite 48 group member? That's not something I talked about in high school with my friends. You know like hey pick one of these Japanese girls. Which one's your type? You know like so. But like that, I guess that's like associated.
Yo,
with, like,
dude, that question.
what? Hey, pick one. But like you know, like it's like, and so like that kind of whole conversation and dialogue is very much I feel like associated with yeah like young high school boys and stuff like that. And so there's this like expectation that okay, well you eventually grow out of the like what the stuff you were into and when you were like a high school kid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But I think, like, so it's kind of what I was getting at, because I stole what my comment earlier about identity exploration from Jean Piaget. The
Oh, no,
psychologist.
Piaget, okay.
Right, and so then, like, you know,
Is that a
'cause when
Pokemon?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the Pidgeot, John Pidgeotto.
Yo, I stole that individual identity, and I also stole Sand Attack.
Damn it.
But, like, no.
That was the worst one to steal, Joe.
But, like, it
That's
makes,
so stupid.
like, the comment makes more sense because, you know, you're totally.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Because like you know when you think of high school, you think of people like oh they got their emo phase, they got their like hipster phase, they got their jock thing. They're like moving in and out of these different like things.
Mm-hmm.
And so then by the time they're 20, they're almost like at the tail end of that stage of figuring out who they are and trying out new things. And maybe that's why the 20 was like the cutoff time. But then if you get into it earlier, you've already sort of solidified that identity. And so then like, it doesn't that graduating from adults at 20 doesn't really apply as much. And then it becomes more of a like, oh, how long it's like, as long as this is still interesting to me, then like, I'll still keep doing it. Or as long as I still have time for it, then I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. Because like I mean, just real quick, like how old were you guys when you got into idols? Because I think I was like 23, something like that.
Well, for me, it was 6 months ago.
Oh.
For me, it's like 2009, 2010, and like, but this sounds like super cocky or whatever, like trying to be cool, but like, really does help with learning Japanese. It's been like I found them because I wanted to learn Japanese, not because like I like idols. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's so weird, like when I say that, like no one wants to believe me.
I believe you, Joe. Because
Oh,
now you're in Japan teaching Japanese, and you're like, well, I just don't follow idols as much because it's like the language is really what matters.
I don't teach Japanese.
Or teach English in Japan to Japanese kids.
My assistant teach anyway. God, what was that one thing I was gonna say? Oh yeah, like a lot of people don't believe me when I say I like Rushkanai because I like the saxophone. We were like, hey, you like? I was like, man, I really like Rushkanai. Like that song comes on, I keep listening to it. Like and somebody's like, oh, so like, are you a big, Miru fan or like you really like that Fu Chansen? I'm like, nah, man, I like the sax.
I'm a saxo sheet.
Yo, man, Who doesn't love a good brass section? Is all I'm saying.
Dude, that Saxon Rush Canai is so sick. Oh man, I really like that song.
Yeah, dude. It was just like when Coquettish came out. I was like, yeah, okay, Jarena looks gorgeous here, but I'm all about that. Like, no, I mean, because like even for me, I got into idols just because of variety more so than the idols and
Yeah.
like the music and stuff. Like at first, I just like laughing at their misfortunes, you know, like, haha, eat that bug. This is good entertainment, you know.
You know, there's been times when I've been tempted to move on, and that's mostly because one thing that really gets me right, like I would take a vacation to Japan, or like I guess vacation anywhere when I think about it, and like during that time, like I'd actually do stuff, and then like I would fall out of like what's going on in Idol World, and like getting back into it was always so hard. I'm like, you know, I would check like Google Plus, and then I would check like Matome sites or whatever, and then like at least like every day doing the daily grind, and then that time I take a vacation, and then I come back, I'm like, man, I don't really know anything, I don't really know what's going on, and then like I'm like, yeah, dude, I could actually quit, if I wanted to, and then something happens.
Yeah.
But like I think about those times when like I'm actually doing something, I'm going out or like having fun with friends and exploring this new travel location, or I'm not in the grind of working, waking up, working, going home, doing whatever. Yeah.
I had. Okay.
Well, I was gonna say like I honestly feel like I'll probably won't be into it as much like in a couple years, because like I know that I don't know any of the other like idols as well as I know like Sayaka, so I feel like when she's gonna graduate, and it's gonna be harder to follow her, and like I'm left with like, okay, there's these girls that I don't really know that well.
So my question is, like, what if when Sayaka leaves and she's like, I know I'm graduating as NMB. I don't know what I said. Anyway, I'm graduating NMB 48, but please continue to support them because they always say that in their speech.
Oh, I'll try.
See, that's because I don't know why.
You say you'll try. You have a freaking Nagisa shirt.
I do. It's right here.
Because like, okay, I am a Drina Oshi, right? But that wasn't always the case. I remember saying like, and I'm not saying that the same thing's gonna happen to you and you're just gonna become me or anything, Julia. But I'm just like, I remember like, my like Mariko was my first Oshi, and then I was like, when she was like she had announced her graduation and stuff, and I was already getting shreked. I was like, oh well, I'm probably gonna be out when Mariko leaves. Like, I mean, I'll probably be like casual and I'll just fade out,
Mm-hmm.
And then she's just like, please keep supporting AKB48 group and stuff like that. I'm gonna be like a Drina Oshi and I'm gonna support Drina, and I'm like, well, that's what Mariko wants me to do. Then, and then look at me now.
Right.
I got my frames on. I need to show these off.
The thing is like, so like there's like a lot of content. Yeah, so it's pretty popular, right?
What was that, Julia?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead,
I
Julia.
was saying how like there's a lot of content for like Sayaka because she's like super popular, but then like if my second girlfriend would pick Nagisa, she's not as popular. It's not gonna be as much stuff for me there.
Oh, come on, man. There's so much stuff.
But it's not.
Joe's all butthurt now.
Yeah, there's so much stuff.
You're so lucky. You don't even know.
Yeah. Dude, you're an NMB fan, man. We have so much stuff, and no one ever watches it, and then they complain about screen time and music. Oh, what? Huh?
It's like that stage threat. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
But I think I will give it a try and we'll see how it goes. But I feel like I'll give it maybe like 2 years.
You have to be like me, and you're like a social Oshi, where like you only have one just so like you can fit in with everybody else that talks about their Oshi.
You just pick one. You literally like close your eyes. Okay, I'll follow this one.
No, I like the whole group, and I follow like lots of different. I just say I have one
Mm-hmm.
because it's entertaining and it
Right.
makes me fit in.
She made it this time. You must be new.
I know, dude. Did you like her vest and her striped shirt?
Dude, she has the worst outfit. Like,
Look at her hair is like all like
And that-
rockabilly.
that coif?
she has the worst outfit. She has the worst hair. I'm like so upset with that. Like, oh man, everybody's outfit is so much better.
But she's in it though.
Well, yeah, because she's good.
Sorry, I have it up on the other screen right now. I'm just looking at her her outfit.
Her like she looks like a cowboy. Like you should have been in the Team M video.
Oh, I was gonna say like she looks like a very one of those really flashy barbers. Like she'd probably do like a shave service too.
Oh, with like the straight
Yeah, like she'd have a straight razor and she'd just like get the stropping belt and just why don't you just go ahead and get comfortable. You know, must be now.
But anyway,
I digress. Yeah.
so do you think you'll stick with it just like until you stop having friends who are also into idols? AKA never. No. just kidding.
We'll see. Who knows? Like personally, like I change friends a lot, so that hasn't happened for a while. We'll see if it happens.
No. I won't let you
Hey man,
go, Joe.
hey, you say that though. You say that you don't even talk to me.
I'm very bad at social media. Like look at me in the line chat. I post like every now and then I'll like be there for a while and then I'll just fade back out of like to obscurity.
I'm just saying, man. Like say, oh, I'm never gonna let you. Man, you let me go.
Okay, I'm gonna do like I'm saying this on air, so there's record. I'm gonna make a better effort to stay in touch with Joe.
Have
You
you
don't
ever
have
commented on his blog?
No, but I
yet,
want
though?
to. You are
on my
important, Joseph.
blog.
Your blog?
Wait, what?
His
Wait,
blog?
what about Joe's
On
blog?
Joe's blog.
My-
Like, have
my
you
secret.
commented on it, Jimmy?
Oh, I don't comment on blogs.
You're not even trying, man.
No, I'm not trying to interact with Joe's blog. I want to interact with Joe.
Yeah, but then he tells about what he did in his day.
No, I read it. I just don't comment about it. I'll like.
But
anything,
then he
I'll,
doesn't
like-
know you read it.
Okay, I'll comment on Joe's blog, and then I'll message him on Facebook, and then
Just like that one time I wanted to get you on the podcast, and I like used every single like communication technique.
yeah, dude. He sent me an Ask FM. Like what?
Ask FM, Instagram, email, instant message. I didn't call you though. I sent you like private message on stage.
Because I just made my Stage 48 account. I remember that. Yeah, that got a whole lot of no use. I posted like twice on it, like, yeah, guys, I'm so glad that Takuch ranked, and then I just dipped.
Anyway, so let's see if Jimmy will still graduate from Joe and his fandom.
Sotsugyo shimasen.
All right, Julia, wrap it up.
Okay. So,
It's been about
do
an
you guys
hour.
have any final thoughts on graduating from fandoms? Graduations?
Well, I hope that we don't graduate from Tears My Glutes.
It's gonna happen naturally, Joe. I'm sorry.
Well,
It
because even if
almost
you don't
did.
follow idols, you will
We brought
always
it back from the dead.
there'll always be something to tear your glutes.
We brought it back.
We were injury free for like a couple months, but here we are back tearing our glutes.
We brought Tears My Glutes back from the dead. Well, we didn't really bring it back from the dead. It was just numb from sitting all the time.
Yeah.
We got the blood flow back.
sorry if we're a little awkward today. We're still a little tingly, you know. We're still on pins and needles.
Like we're tired for different reasons.
Joe's tired because it's time to go to sleep. I'm tired because it should be time to wake up, but I'm not awake.
Oh man, we haven't done this in a while, so like.
Jim, do you have any final thoughts?
I will never ever leave my fandom.
Carry all the groups.
I will
Forever.
continue to be strong and carry all the girls.
Hey man, do you post comments on Jurina's blog?
I would if she would update it.
Well, you could just, keep posting comments on her last
The same
picture until she posts a new one.
Dude, you know what it's like being a Trina fan on like following her Google Plus? It is barren. All right, like, all right, time to check again. Still nothing since June. All right, cool.
You know what it's like to be a fan of NMB and like checking their social media? It's glorious.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it pretty abundant? Like,
Yes. Yes. Jesus,
Man.
they're all starting Instagram now.
That land of
Oh,
milk
they
and
are?
honey of idols.
I don't think all of them are, but quite a number of them are.
'Cause I know Milky has one.
Oh, Milky's
Yeah.
Instagram is just gold.
Akanin has one.
It is
Udon has one.
Oh shoot.
Oh, maybe I'll follow those.
Yeah. See, and that's what's gonna happen when you try to leave, and then you're just gonna be checking you're like, oh, I'll quit this fandom. Then you're scrolling through Instagram, and you'll be like, oh man, Akari is really cute here.
Maybe I should come back.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been the Tear My Glutes podcast.
I think it has.
Of graduations, kind of. We are still restructuring our schedule and everything to accommodate, lots of changes going on with our cast members, like Joe.
Do we have any viewers?
I have no idea. I didn't even check.
We have 4. One
Hey,
of them
guys.
is me. Rick's in here. Thank you.
Oh, Rick. Oh, yeah.
Some shout outs to our viewers, all 4 of them.
Are you guys like one of them too?
I am.
I don't think I am.
I am. So. Oh, yo. So we have 3. Oh crap! That is 3 more than I thought we would. It's early. I don't know. Why are you guys awake? That's gross. That sucks.
Yeah, it's also late. Why are you guys awake?
Because I'm looking at Yoshida Akari's Instagram now.
Right. But anyway, so
Mhm.
we're still in the middle of restructuring, trying to figure out like how to get more of our regular cast members on here. So we will post something on the WordPress to let you guys know when we plan to do our next episode. If you have any ideas what you'd like us to talk about, please, I'm begging you, send them in.
Dude, we have plenty of stuff to talk about. We have so much now. And plus, we're probably gonna do this. We probably won't do this weekly anymore.
Yeah, maybe once, twice a month. We'll see.
Yeah.
Or a monthly something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But thank you everyone for watching.
Let us know what you want to see. All right. So good morning or good night, depending on where you are.
Alright, bye-bye.
See ya.